Hi, my name's Todd, and this is my response to Secretary Blinken for his expression of appreciation for the Tibetan Losar celebration. Hello, Secretary Blinken, and thank you for your expression of appreciation for the Tibetan Losar celebration. By showing appreciation for the Tibetan Losar New Year Festival, you also express the same for the Mongolian Tsagansar White Moon Festival, Chunjie traditional Han Chinese Spring Festival, and all other forms of celebration for the cycle of the new year, as the season cycles into spring, a season representing new life and new beginnings. In 1994, when I was deciding where to attend university in China, a close Tibetan friend named Josh gave me some interesting insight. I had previously tested out of Chinese through the Chinese HSK exam, so I was able to take any classes that I wanted to. I wanted to learn Uyghur. I had many Uyghur friends and was intrigued by them and their culture. My first introduction to the Uyghur culture was around 1987, living in Shanghai. I received an invitation to sing Uyghur songs on a Shanghai TV special featuring songs by the late Wang Luobing. Mr. Wang was a Han Chinese man who loved the Uyghur culture and wanted to share the beauty of their music and culture with the rest of China. He adapted many of the songs into Mandarin, and I sang some of them on Shanghai TV. To better understand the cultural perspectives of my desire to learn Uyghur, Josh shared an expression with me. Han, Meng, Zhang, Yijia, the Han, the people that you think of as Chinese, Mongols, and Tibetans are all one family, explaining to me that these three peoples have tightly interwoven cultures and ideologies, and that by learning Uyghur, I will be moving out of the common Han, Mongol, Tibet cultures into a cultural area that is an entirely new cultural linguistic arena. Josh suggested that I learn Tibetan and that he could arrange it through his father, who at that time was a government official in Tibet. Over the years living in China, I came to better understand the common philosophies and value sets shared by the many ethnic groups there. The main shared philosophy is Buddhism. All three of these ethnic groups share a form of Buddhism called Mahayana, or Big Vessel. The main difference is what we call Tibetan Buddhism is actually a mixture of Bon shamanism and Mahayana Buddhism. This form of Buddhism is also practiced by the Mongols, who were also shamanistic. When Buddhism was introduced into these ethnic groups, they both practiced shamanism, and some of the shamanistic practices were allowed to remain for faster transition into Buddhism, a more peaceful and less reactive practice that historically helped to quell warlike tendencies. Thus, you see a colorful and active expression of Buddhism that is much different from the classical Buddhism and Zen images that we're so used to seeing. In many ways, you may compare it to Christianity forms seen amongst American Indian societies, which is a mixture of their traditional beliefs and Christian teachings, from when Christianity was introduced to the Native Americans to provoke a religious change and to bring them more in line with the new white European perspectives. The main difference is that the white man and the Indians had not shared thousands of years of common culture and mutual rule periods. Consider the Yuan dynasty when China was ruled by the Mongols, and the Qing dynasty, which was Manchurian. Over thousands of years, China, as we know it, has been led more by the peoples who are today known as minorities than the Han Chinese. This could be looked at as if Turtle Island or North America had experienced a cyclical common rule by the Lakota, Cherokee, and Mohawk over thousands of years. Yet at times, they had all fought against each other to maintain a form of stability and control. Obviously, the white man is not a part of this scenario since we are not native to this land, and China has not experienced a history like ours where overseas foreigners gained power over the indigenous peoples. In China, they are all indigenous. There is no majority overseas ruling group. Even Great Britain was under a 100-year contract for Hong Kong. The histories and cultures within the Chinese landmass have intermingled, and the boundaries have extended and retracted for millennia. In the above scenario, it's easy to understand why we, white Americans, have difficulty understanding why the Indian tribes lived so close together yet were not peaceful. It was a relationship of thousands of years that they were living out. Within that time frame, there was the intermingling of blood and culture, animosities that caused disagreements which led to battles and wars. In China, there are 56 ethnic groups, including groups like the Turkic and Russian ethnicities, which are not directly related to the traditional cultures based on the Han, Mongol, and Tibetans. The larger ethnic groups all have the opportunity to be educated in Chinese or in their native tongue. In the end, I decided not to attend university in Tibet and chose Inner Mongolia instead. Josh accompanied me to visit the university and helped me to get situated. The university that I attended combined two universities, divided by language. Since I was learning Mongolian, I attended the one where Mongolian was the predominant language. At graduation, I was the first foreigner in China to graduate with a degree in a minority language. But I was also called out as a U.S. spy by many at the university who sensed fear that my Chinese fluency and desire to learn Mongolian were worthy of suspicion. I laughed it off, recognizing how politics and ignorance combined lead to miscalculations and misinterpretations. My desire is that the new administration led by President Joe Biden will recognize the need for diplomacy and harmony, backing away from the rhetoric and normalizing U.S.-China relations. Only by doing so, through friendship and cooperation, will we achieve the desired goals with China. As we enter into 2021, Nionian, the Year of the Ox, and in celebration of the Tibetan Losar and Mongolian Tsagansar, I want to take the time to wish the Chinese people, 56 ethnic groups, who all gaze at the same moon reflecting in our hearts, and those throughout the globe who are looking to the moon in hopes of a new and vibrant life, expressed by the celebration for the arrival of a new spring, with it bringing new opportunities, new life, and new growth. Thank you, Secretary Blinken, for your expression of and recognition for the Lunar New Year. It is a celebration seen by those who recognize this time as a time of hope for new beginnings that sprout from within our hearts and the lands we call home.